Hello, good evening, and welcome to TTTV. My name is Andy Campbell, and tonight we are back with a brand new season, Season 4 of TTFL, coming to you for the first round from the Melbourne Street Circuit in the Australian Grand Prix. And I'm not alone in the commentary box this evening. Alongside me in the commentary box is TTFL's most successful driver in its short history. It is Spike, a one-time Drivers' Champion and a two-time Constructors' Champion, joins me this evening. Spike, how are you doing, my friend? There's a good intro for you.
Thank you very much, Andy. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are yourself?
Doing well. Looking forward to this because there's quite a few drivers that I actually don't know much about, which I'm sure you maybe know more than I do, obviously, because normally I'm in the box alongside Kieran on a Thursday night doing TTL F1 instead. But with Steph having obviously dropped out, I've dropped out of my comfort zone of Thursdays and joined in for Friday nights for now, so that we can keep the stream going. But there's going to be a few drivers in here I don't know. Anyone we should be looking out for away from the obvious names that we would normally see on a Tuesday and a Thursday in TTL?
Well, I must admit, Andy, I'm kind of in the same position as you. I mean, I obviously know the drivers from TTL, so Lambo, Poe, KLC from last season, 73, and Mr. Rapid, Siege as well, with the recent update to the game, where hopefully now it appears that pad users are on a level playing field now. So Siege would definitely be up there. He's a very consistent, very fast driver. So I think he's my tip for a possible race win today.
You might want to hit spectate mode quickly. You've only got 10 seconds.
There we go. I was in spectate. I don't know why it changed it back,
It
but there
didn't
we go.
change it. There you go. It's just like, you're not in spectate mode. You're going to end up driving this one, mate. That'll be interesting. Straight from the driver's seat. That would have been a really good
There you
one.
go.
Maybe we'll try that one night. Who knows?
Maybe we'll try that one day. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see. But obviously, we are going to have a new champion within this season. Now, it's shorter than last season. The last year, last season it just finished a few weeks back, was the full 21 round season. This season's is only 11 rounds, shorter rounds. I'll go through the calendar shortly. But last season's drivers' champion was UPL Hamilton. He's not back defending his championship this year, so we are going to have a new champion for this season, and with nearly a full grid of drivers as well for this evening too. We're going to have a really interesting race around Melbourne. 3.296 miles, 16 turns, 3 DRS zones as well, and obviously a track debuted in 1996 and had that massive shunt for Martin Brundle down at turn 3. Alonso's had a big crash down there, so has Jack Villeneuve. It's a very interesting track. You've obviously driven it quite often. You were driving last night, in fact, in TTL's start of season 14. What's the areas to look out for during the finance race?
I've always personally struggled with a rhythm. Rhythm is very important around this track. Braking zones you make a lot of time in, and turn 11 and 12 for the fast chicane. If you run a relatively aggressive weight distribution setup, then you're going to be finding when the tyres start to wear out, the back end will step away. So we had quite a few retirements last night for that reason. So we'll have to keep an eye on that when the tyres start to degrade.
It will be, and especially with the ultra soft, the super soft, and soft tyres on the hands dropped into the chat with there, so I'm guessing we are in for a dry race as well, so that'll definitely be one.
Yes, your mic is breaking up quite a bit there, Andy. I don't know what's happening.
Not again. No, it's happened to me elsewhere, as I was just saying to you before. Hold on.
So while Andy's fizzling out his mic, he's just not taking over from it. So drivers are just emerging out for the pit lane now. So got Charlie and Fletcher here exiting the pit lane currently. Now the game has that correct. They're both out on the soft tyre. Let's get the telemetry up, that data. Yeah, so Charlie and Fletcher both out on the soft tyre. We've got Sinclair out on the super soft. Honey Badger's out on the ultra, along with the KLC. Lambo also out on the ultra soft tyre there. Quite a few runners out on the soft, probably just out for a couple of laps just to see how the soft tyre is feeling for the race. One or two may want to set a lap time on the soft tyre, but I did that last night, and it was more for the fact that personally I just didn't hook qualifying up very well, so I hooked up a decent lap and ended up P10 on the soft. So if you can get yourself in that top 10 on the soft, then you obviously got a very good end to the race with super soft, or if you can push it far enough to the ultra soft tyre for the end of the race. Are you back with us, Andy? Doesn't appear so. I think you're still cutting out, unfortunately, for us at the moment. So see if we can find. Honey, so I'm currently watching Honey Badger, Sector 1. At 26.3, that's a very competitive first sector already, so they're now through Sector 2. Just behind his teammate, the other McLaren. That appears to be better, mate. Yeah, I heard you on that point.
We'll see how long this lasts. Hopefully that's not going to carry on for the rest of the evening, because Sunday night when I done it elsewhere, that was a nightmare. And anyone wants to start a fund for Get Andy a better mic, then please feel welcome to. Give me a link. But yeah, cars out on track now finally. I'm going to see some lap times shortly. What should we be looking for in terms of a lap time round here, Spike, for pole position? What are we expecting?
If you're running the ultra soft tyre, then you're going to be looking at the low 19s. I think last night it was a 19.3 was pole position by Jay. So anything mid to low 19s is going to be a great lap time. Siege has already posted a 120 and already beaten by Honey Badger on a 19.6. That's a competitive, great first lap. Very competitive. So on the super soft tyre, the delta's around 6/10, but you tend to lose a little bit more than that in the game. So anything low 20s, even a high 19 on the super soft would be a great lap time. And last night I managed a 121, I think, on the softs. I think it was mid to late 121. So yeah, that's about the sort of lap time you're looking at on the soft.
Keep an eye on what happens. We'll go for the driver up and the calendar when we get a wee. What I'm going to do now. Coming round forward with the Friday driver as he goes on to his hot lap here off the Melbourne track. 3.296 miles, as I say, heading down towards turn 1, down to 4th gear. He's just missed the apex there and didn't run too far wide on exit, and then down towards turn number 3. DRS zone down here as well is going to be a very good overtaking opportunity. Don't need my mic breaking up for that one there. Plasto's missed the apex there on that one, but he is running those hardest compound soft tyres through turn 4 and into the flat out turn 5, and then heading under the trees to the end of sector 1 and heading up towards turn number 6 down to 4th gear, just picking up the power as gentle as you can, then through the curve of turn 7 and 8, and then heading up to turn number 9, named after Jim Clark. Down the gears to 3rd gear, clipping the apex nicely through turn 10, which is an acceleration zone. You want to get that right because this long curve heads you down towards that fast chicane of turns 11 and 12. Down to 6th gear, throw it in around about 140. Plaster's one very, very wide, which can happen, and that's going to ruin his lap time there as he carries on. We'll stick with him though. Heading down towards turn 13, this is the other DRS zone down towards this corner here, and down to 4th gear for that one. Up the gears quite quickly to 6th, and then back down to 5th gear for turn 14, into turn 15, which is named after Alain Prost. 2nd gear, very slow corner, and then you want to get the turn in right here so you can get in the power very early indeed. Down the front straight, DRS opened, and obviously we know it's not going to be the most representative time from the Ferrari. It's a 26.4. mistake. That is a lap off the Melbourne circuit, and Spike Plaster showing just how easy it is through that fast chicane to get it very, very wrong, and we could see people in the wall there if they get it very sideways and catching the curb during the race indeed.
Yeah, Plaster caught the grass between the two turns there, so that's why he was offline for the second part. Obviously made it go wide. Meanwhile, I was keeping an eye on the tyres, and SSR Fletcher has set a 121.0 on the soft tyre, which is a very good lap time. So I don't know whether he's going to decide to stay with that or head towards the super soft or the ultra soft towards the end of the session, but he's looking very good for possibly going for the pole position later on. And just a note on your mic, Andy, it appears to get better the longer you leave it on, so I would suggest not muting it when I'm talking, just leave it open.
I will try that one then. I've gotten a habit of muting it because I do have some breathing with asthma problems, and it can sound like I'm breathing heavy on the mic, and I don't want people getting the wrong idea, which is usually why I mute it. So,
well, there you go. You've now aired that out, so I'm sure people won't judge you.
Hopefully, Well, we're just watching some of the cars going around the track. Let's run the 11-round calendar we have. So we start the track. Week will be National Circuit and China Grand Prix. Round 3 will be the Spanish Grand Prix. Then it'll be Canada, Austria, Germany, Belgium, Singapore, Japan, Mexico, and Abu Dhabi. So just 11 out of the 21 rounds used. Final traditional season closer of the Classic Cup as well. We've got a Ferrari, that is Plaster actually there as we are watching KLC. Plaster is in the wall at the exit of turn 2. He's obviously been at big time, so a terrible qualifying second through the driver. We know is in the Ferrari. For the Scuderia is Alan Hay, currently in 15th, current soft tyre as well. Flag somewhere in sector 3. Top of the standings at the moment is Honey Badger in the McLaren, the defending constructors champion. With yourself.
Yeah, your mic's still breaking up quite a bit there. Maybe we didn't get most of that, but I think we get the gist of it. Yeah, obviously Plaster's, I think what he's done there is run wide through turn 2 and got on that curb, and if you leave it on full throttle and you touch the grass and the astroturf, you can certainly use the back end, and because the walls are so close around here, then it's a one-way trip to the barriers. Unfortunately, it's popped the front tyre off for him there, so unfortunately that's the end of his session, but I'm sure in the race he'll be Mr. Consistent, as he always has been, and hopefully he can perhaps come home with some points.
Be hoping. Sound any better?
You're still breaking up a little bit, mate.
Goodness me, this is not good.
It was fine for a bit, and then it started to be a bit funny again. So unfortunately, at the moment, it's a little bit all over the place. I can only just wiggling your the jack in the controller. Perhaps that might make it a bit more, but it seems more like a bit like Kieran's had the same problems in the past as well with this microphone issues. Meanwhile, while Andy is trying to fix his mic, I shall go for the list of drivers. So currently in P1 is Mr. Honey Badger on a 119.6. Second is Lambo on a 119.829. And we've got KLC on a 120.070. And then P4 we've got TCL Siege on a 120.174. And then Mr. Darren Sinclair on a 120.4. I do believe that time was set on the super soft tyre. And then the next one is Mr. Fletcher 12. He's on a 121.0. That was on the soft tyres, and now he's on the ultra soft. So you should be looking at he should be gaining about 1.2, 1.3 according to the delta. But generally, with the track ramping up, with it rubbering in, you should get a bit more than that. So I think he should be looking at a low 119 on this lap, hopefully for him when he gets around to the end. After that, we've got Mr. Rapid, who's on a 121.2, and then Struth on a 121.5, Suarez 122.3, and then in P10 Gennaro on a 122.4. And are you with us, Andy?
I hope. I pray. I hope. But we'll see. I have tried everything I could possibly do to get this to work, and I can hear it on the stream. It sounds fine on the stream. I don't. But yeah, it was.
Oh, maybe it's just me then. If it's, I mean, I'll tell you what. I will bring the stream up on another device so I can hear it. And if we can hear you on the stream, then go for it. And I'll just ignore the fact that it's breaking up on my end.
That time, it's breaking up, but it actually isn't. Sometimes it's really, really strange when indeed. Good up in a moment. You got a badge. Goes down.
Yeah, you are breaking up, Andy, on the stream as well, unfortunately. I've just checked. It's not really hearing you very well.
This is
having a few technical issues this evening. People will apologise for these technical problems. Okay, so what I should do is I will jump on board on the stream. I will jump on board with Mr. Fletcher, who's currently on a lap on his ultra soft tyre. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him with the McLaren, but that appears to be getting out of the way for him, which is good. Up to turn 11 and turn 12 now. Just flick the one gear, back on the power. Very nice through there. Car was very stable as well, so that bodes well for the race. That's 13. Nice and late on the brakes. Good turn in. Got a car ahead of him again. Hopefully that car will stay out of the way and not affect the end of his lap. Darren Sinclair in front. Another good turn in. Car gets out of the way through the final corner. And through the last corner. Honey Badger has improved to a 19.4. and Fletcher across the line, and so 1:19.9. So half a second off at that point. So I don't know. I didn't see the start of the lap, so perhaps he made a small mistake somewhere. But it's very competitive compared to Sinclair and Lambeau. So they're both on a 1:19.8. And you got Fletcher on a 1:19.9, and then Kelsey still on a 1:20.0. I think he is now on his second qualifying lap. He runs wide through turn 14 there. Very wise. A little bit of time lost there. And around the final corner now. He's got a little bit more, appears to be a little bit more understeer setup than Fletcher. And across the line, he saved his ERS a bit more. And that lap time was invalidated, so I believe this will probably now be his actual lap time. Which is 1-2 nice through there. DRS open. That sounded like Andy. Is he back with us?
I hope so. Can you hear?
A little bit. There was a little bit there. It's still a little bit poppy, so it seems fine 1 minute and then it starts to go again, unfortunately, which is rather annoying.
Annoying indeed. Okay, I'll try something else. Hold on. I'm trying.
Oh, whoa! And Kelsey loses the car and hits the wall there. See, I can't say from the onboard. It's definitely must have got some wing damage. Obviously, the lap has gone anyway, so he'll have to be returning to the pits on that one. Yeah, his front wing damage as well, so that will be a return to the pit lane there. Just go on the exit curb, a little too much on the exit there, and just threw the car across the track. That does definitely happen. I've done that many times myself as well. So he'll be returning to the pits. Siege is on an out lap, on a fresh set of ultra softs, so he'll be going for the next lap. So he's decided not to go on the harder tyre. So I think, as we said before, with this new game update, it does appear that pad users are able to now run the softer tyre and actually make them last, so that hopefully should just give us better racing, to be fair, between more players. CG is a very, very quick and very consistent driver, so hopefully that will bring him right into the fray along with the guys that are at the top currently. Perhaps we should try one more thing, Andy, because you're still breaking up a lot. Perhaps if I open a party chat and you join me, that might work better, because we currently cannot hear you at all. So let's do that.
Can you hear me?
Hear you in this, alright?
Right, well, that's a good start.
You are much clearer, mate, at the moment, so hopefully that will stay the same.
Yeah, sounds like it. That's good. Swap the controls.
So maybe there's some kind of issue with that, I have no idea. And if I start doing the same thing, then obviously we know what's going on, don't we?
What I've done is I've swapped. I've got headset games, so I've swapped my... Yeah.
There it goes. It started doing it now. That's crazy. It's such a weird problem.
What's going on? I don't know.
Just, is this the original PlayStation one that you're using, or is it a different one?
No. Yeah.
If you have still got that, I would suggest perhaps try and swap to that one, see if that works. Not the greatest quality, but it'll probably work if you've still got it. Okay, so I will drop back a stream while Andy's. Unfortunately, we still can't hear Andy, which is quite a big shame there. So we'll jump on with KLC. He's now on his third set of tyres. So this will be his last qualifying lap. A little bit of oversteer through turn one there. A reasonable exit there into turn 2. He has posted the jet. He's having a few steering issues with his steering wheel, so a little bit late, very wide through there. So I think he's carrying on. No, he's retired from the session. Yep. So he missed the apex in turn 3 there. So decided to abandon the lap at that point. Excuse me. So Mr. Fletcher is on an out lap. Siege is on an out lap. Sinclair, I think, has just started his lap, so we'll stay with him. Turn for 1 2. And down to turn 3. Nice and late on the brakes. Nice turn in, yep. Pick up the throttle. Yep, very nice. Through turn 4. Just watch that exit curve there, don't touch it too much because it can force the car into the wall. Flat through turn 6. End of sector 1, 26.6. Not the fastest we've seen. Through turn 7 and 8, that's fine, nothing nice through there. I can hear things in the background, so I hope that means Andy is now back with us.
I hope. I don't know what else I can do apart from buy a new headset, and I don't have the money for it.
So there you go, chat. I don't think we have a Streamlabs for donations, but I think perhaps between everyone, I'm sure we can donate towards a new headset for Mr. Andy there.
It would be very good.
So it seems fine for a while and then it disappears and goes back. So Lambo's obviously made a mistake on his last 5 laps. He's retired from the session. So we'll stay with Sinclair. He's now heading into the last 2 corners. Car ahead. Hopefully that won't affect too much. Through the final corner. DRS wide open. And to the line we go. What's the time? It's a 1:19.5, so he goes up to P2. Good luck there from Sinclair.
Very good lap from the style driver. In the 10th off a Honey Badger's pole position lap time. Here comes the McLaren over the line now with the DRS, and he's improved to a 19.3. Very nice lap there indeed. Very nicely done.
That matches last night.
And that means that he is going to take pole position as well, because that is everybody across the line. The session is over. So McLaren, last season's Constructors champions, starting the season off very strongly indeed with Honey Badger, and it's I believe a home pole position as well, possibly for the McLaren drivers. I'm quite sure I seen an Australian flag against them before the start of the lobby, but we'll go through it in just a second. There you go, yeah, home pole position for Honey Badger, a 1:19.3. 1/10th clear of Sinclair in second, Lambo third in the Mercedes, Siege in fourth for Reynolds, Fletcher and KLC make it a Williams 5-6 on row 3. Gennaro puts the Force India in 7th, the top 7 all on the Ultra Softs. Sakic, I'm going to get that wrong all day. So he's in 8th anyway, and that's on Super Softs. Rapid 9th for Mercedes. Smelly Badger, who's just going to be Badger from here on out, makes it 10th for McLaren, and that is your top 10. Only one driver in the top 10 going for the alternate strategy onto the Super Soft tyres there. That could be definitely an interesting one later on into the race. But what do you expect people outside the top 10 to go? Do you expect to see predominantly Super Softs, or should we see a lot of yellow banded tyres, you think, here, Spike?
It 100% depends on what you're feeling. I mean, if you want to be strong at the end, then you might run the soft and then run the super soft, or even perhaps the ultra soft. But if you want to make up places at the start, then the hyper soft is the tyre to go for, because that's the one that's going to give you the best bite off the line, give you the most grip, obviously, especially the first 5 to 6 laps. They'll do the qualifying runners will probably be in between lap 8 and 10. And if you've got a fresh set of ultras, you can obviously push that to probably 10 or 12, and you can quite happily make the end on the soft there. If you decide to start the super soft, then you'll be pushing to lap 12 to 14, and obviously you'll have slightly fresher softs at the end. When I did the soft to super soft last night, it just meant that I had, obviously, once the pit cycle had finished, I had better tyres at the start, but towards the end of the stint, it kind of balanced out, and I was on the same pace as the soft runners at the end.
Fair enough. So there we go on to the formation lap. Obviously the top 7 on the Ultra Softs. You've got Sakic on 8th place on the Super Softs for the Red Bull driver, the Turkish driver. Rapid and Badger round out the top 10 on the Ultras. Then we've got Sturuf, I'm just going to call him Stews, it's a lot easier. He's in the Salba, he's on Super Softs. Dynamics on the Super Softs, so is Maze, Charlie, Plaster and Leroy are all on Super Softs. And then you've got Suarez Alan Kay and Maximus on the soft tyres. So only 3 drivers going for the yellow banded softs here to start the race. We'll keep an eye on their progress later on for sure. If you had to put something on this year, Spike, who would be your money be on for this one here at the start of the season? It's obviously a bit trickier starting a new season, new drivers, new teams for some of the drivers as well. But if you had to pick someone, who should we be looking out for?
I have to can only go on my previous experience. I must say I'm not sure I've even raced with Mr. Honey Badger, but obviously his lap time and quality was very competitive, so you have to give him, say he's definitely going to be there or thereabouts at the end. Darren Sinclair, I've known him for many seasons. He's always been near the front. We've got a bit of incident going on the back there by the look of it.
Yeah, KLC lost it across the road, sorry.
Fair enough. I was just going to make a quick side note that Fletcher did a 121.0 on the soft tyre, and he then reported he had a few steering issues afterwards, which obviously meant he had a compromised run on the ultra soft and only ended up going about 2.5 tenths quicker. So he would have actually been P7 on the grid on the soft tyre, so that would have been obviously a much better strategy for the end of the race, because obviously at the end he'd be running a softer compound and be able to attack, but see, hopefully he's got those steering issues sorted for the start of the race.
Well, we're soon to see the drivers are lining back up on the grid for the start of a new season here for TTFL. TTFL, of course, brought to you by Weak Wi-Fi Solutions. Who will win the Weak Wi-Fi Solutions Driver of the Day, and who will take the A-Logo Fastest Lap Award come the end of the race? We'll keep an eye on those as we come towards the end. But drivers are now on the grid for the start of 29 laps here this evening. Trying to get a good camera angle. There we go. That's much more like it. 5 lights are on for the start of the Australian Grand Prix. Lights out and we're underway. Who's got a good start? We'll keep an eye. Plenty of smoke as the tyres spin up, heading down towards turn 1, and the pole man looks like he's going to hold on there into turn number 1. Lambo's got the better of Sinclair, who's actually going right off the track. We've got Williams in the wall, we've got carnage in the background. Absolute carnage behind. We've got multiple cars in the wall. KLC the only one somehow out of the race there. You seen what was going on there, Spike? What happened?
I must admit I was flicking between cameras, but it looked like Lambo and Sinclair were side by side into turn 1. I don't know if there's any contact, but Sinclair ended up out on the dirty stuff and just lost the rear of the car basically, and was desperately trying to stop it coming back across the track. But at that point you're a bit of a passenger. He had nothing, could do nothing about it, and I do believe he collected KLC at that point. He then obviously went into the wall on the inside of turn 2 and broke the front wheel off. Unfortunately, very big crash at the start. Unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. KLC out of the race already. Sinclair's got damage. I'm sure Suarez has got damage as well. There's a few drivers out of the race. That's you can see to the right hand side there, and he's done exactly what we spoke about in qualifying. You can just catch that curb and it just pitch you sideways as Dynamic goes past his Red Bull teammate who has got damage on that front wing because he has taken it really slowly back to pit lane. So we're going to see multiple drivers into pit lane here at the end of lap 1, but Honey Badger still leads. He's got Lambo right behind in second. Fletcher's following him through in third place. These three have kind of made a little bit of a gap already over Siege in fourth, Gennaro's in fifth, Stu is in sixth, Badger in seventh, Mays eighth, Leroy ninth, Charlie rounds out the top 10. We've got Dynamic, both Red Bulls in pit lane along with Suarez and Sinclair. Rapid and KLC already out of the race, so we're -1 Mercedes and -1 Williams already, and those that have pitted will keep an eye on what sort of tyres. They're all going for super soft tyres here, so that might force them into a 2-stop strategy possibly later on into the race. What do you think, Spike?
Yeah, it will be. If you're going into the super soft now, then you'll definitely be stopping again for another set at the end of the race, or possibly the ultra soft, depending on how far you can get those supers to go. But yeah, you won't be making the end of the race on super softs at this point.
No, not at all. Rapid's already jumped into the chat. He says he did it yesterday as well. I'm guessing he must have done it in TTL F1 last night, and he's done it again today, and I've seen so many drivers do it. Just catch the curb on the exit of turn 12, that fast chicane, that just spits you sideways and straight to the scene of the accident. So 2 drivers down already, and not the greatest start to the season for those two. We're coming to the end of lap number 2 to start lap number 3. DRS will now be enabled, and you can see the top 3 all in one shot there. Lambo is right on the back of Honey Badger. Of course, Lambo season 12 TTL F1 champions. Obviously we know he's got credentials. We've seen him very often here on TTTV, and we know what he can do. We've got action going on behind because Maximus is now headed for pit lane also, further down the field. So that's put Alan Kay up a position also. I wonder if that's damage for the Haas driver as we try to keep an eye on through the field. Leroy in the Toro Rosso is right behind Mays, catching the grass there, does the Toro Rosso, coming up towards turn number 6, and he's going to fancy his chances in the back of that Renault before long, so we'll keep an eye out and see if he fancies doing anything, but Mays has got the position covered at the moment. We jump back to the leaders because Lambo is right behind that McLaren, coming up now out of the fast chicane. We're going to have the DRS zone now, and that means that Mercedes is going to be gaining, but he's not close enough as they come up to turn 13, so he's going to want to try and follow through as close as he can through these final couple of corners and see if he can make it work either down to turn 1 or most likely down towards turn number 3. That's probably going to be the best opportunity for Lambo to get past here. Honey Badger running very wide there onto the AstroTurf to end the lap, across the line, and Lambo fastest lap of the race here, a 24.0, and that means that is actually quicker than the actual race lap record, which is still held by Michael Schumacher's 2004 Ferrari, the old V10, a 124.1. So we're already quicker than that spike, as we'd expect obviously with these V6 hybrid turbos, and of course being on a game rather than real life, there's not as much fear going into the corners as Leroy gets round the outside of Mays into turn number 3 and up into 8th place.
Yeah, and Leroy's had a great start to the race. He's up 11 places already. He's doing Max Verstappen here. He's up from P19 to P19 to P8. So he's doing really well. Just 6 tenths behind the other McLaren of Badger 7117. Yeah, Lambo is obviously all over the back of Honey Badger. The DRS is helping a lot. DRS isn't that powerful out of turn 11 and 12 unless you've got a big run already on the car ahead. And then, like you said, it's up to you. If you can make the move into turn 1, you go for it, because it isn't actually another detection point at turn 1 and 2. So if you get ahead at that point, you then get a second boost of DRS to stay ahead for the next straight. But obviously turn 3 is a bigger braking zone, so that's the main overtaking zone there. Fletcher's looking even closer to the back of Lambo now, so I think Fletcher could well be the one to make the move, but of course Lambo's got the DRS to help him defend from him.
Definitely so, to come down towards turn number 1 to start lap 5 at 29, and that Williams is going an awful lot quicker than what the real life one did at the start of testing, because it was still in the factory in Grove obviously when everyone else started. But look at this, the top 3 into turn 3, they're basically nose to tail as they go through there, and you can see on the right hand side, as Spike was mentioning, Leroy up 11 positions. Fletcher runs very wide onto the grass there. He's now up 12 positions, so he's just got ahead off the other McLaren Badger, so he's done it again into turn number 3 as we've been watching the battle for the lead between the top 3. He's up 12 places now. Sinclair, after getting caught out in that first lap incident, is down 11 places, but he has now made his pit stop obviously, but with being on the super sauce, we're expecting that to be forcing them into a 2-stop strategy. So still plenty to go on here towards the end of proceedings tonight. Where am I going? That's what I want. Thank you very much, game, for doing what I want. I'm trying not to, you'll believe it or not, I am not trying not to move at all. I've got the controller sitting like 2 inches off the top of the bed that I'm sitting on, and I'm trying not to move in the hope that everything just keeps working for the rest of the evening. So here's hoping. Badgers ran wide out of turn number 13 there. That's going to allow Mays the chance to go up the inside, but he's a bit tentative in doing so, and McLaren holds on to the position. And meanwhile Lambo still fancying his chances down towards turn 1. We've got yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2, and is the Haas is minus its front wing, and Maximus, that's not been the greatest start to proceedings for him. He's going to have to make another pit stop already. Lambo's still not managed to get past Honey Badger, and Siege is closed right up to the back of Fletcher, so he's made a mistake somewhere along the line. Meanwhile, back down in 9th place, Mays has got the other Toro Rosso with Charlie right behind there in 10th. So that's the battle for the final points paying position. Suarez trying to catch up to the back of Dynamic. Second is coming through in 16th from Maximus, as we know, heading back towards pit lane. We're surely going to expect to see these ultra soft runners come into the pit lane within the next lap or two, as we get a lovely overhead shot of Lambo coming through that fast chicane there. But we'll just keep an eye on when they come into pit lane. If they were to pit now, they should come out be behind Charlie and ahead of Plaster, so it'd be around about 10th place at the moment. There's about a 10-second gap there between 10th and 11th due to the pit stops that have gone ahead so far. Plaster and Alan Kay haven't pitted yet on those soft tyres and super soft tyres, but due to all the hassles going on, as Suarez is out of the race as well, so we've got another retirement. Alan Kay's out as well, so plenty going on. Let's see if we can pick up anything. Suarez is across the track before turn 6, so that's what's happened to him. We'll see what's happened to Alan Kay. I've got a funny feeling as we're on board with Sinclair, it's up at the fast chicane. He's done the exact same as Rapid, I think. Yellow flag. Where is the Ferrari? Yep, middle of the road. So he's done exactly what Rapid's done, dropped it on the exit of turn 12, so 2 more retirements at 2 separate parts of the track there, Spike.
Yeah, Suarez had done a Rubens Barrichello there from 2003 and gone wide through turn 5 and obviously probably caught the exit curb and spat him back across the track onto the inside wall and broke the wheel off. Alan Kay, as we've seen before with Rapid, it's very easy to do, especially if you take just a little bit too much speed into the first part, then wide for the second part, and then you just want to try and keep a bit more curve. As Honey Badger nearly does exactly the same thing, but does a wise thing and just backs out of the throttle and straightens the steering. But obviously that's now put Lama right onto him now. He's within a couple of tenths.
Definitely, so he's right behind there. I was just scrolling through some of the other drivers because Badger has lost 2 places to Mays and Charlie in that lap. Didn't quite capture what happened as Honey Badger goes to pit lane. So Honey Badger into pit lane, the first of the leaders to pit at the end of lap number 7, as Lambo goes into the lead of the race here on lap number 8. Fletcher follows him through, as does Siege, Gennaro, Stu as well, who's on those super softs, so keep an eye on him later on into the race. And it is the yellow marked soft tyres for the pole sitter as he heads back out onto the track. Where is he going to filter in? Mays and Charlie have gone by. His teammate, other Badger, Smelly Badger as he is going to just drop him behind his teammate. So Honey Badger drops out in 9th position there, having made his pit stop. So it's now going to be, I'd expect to see Lambo and Fletcher into pit lane on this lap to cover that off, so that the overcut doesn't happen, or the undercut doesn't happen, to them. So we'll keep an eye on that. Charlie, meanwhile, is right behind Mays as they come up towards turn 7, which is where we've seen Suarez in the middle of the track. We've seen an incident there last night that took Mays out of the race in TTL F1 with Z3 nearly making that same mistake and Mays getting caught up in the incident. So it is a tricky one with the curbs just spitting you out off the track, and you've got to be really careful. We've seen it happen a number of times already here this evening, and we're only on lap number 8 of 29. Here comes Lambo through the final couple of corners. Is he heading for pit lane? I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Yes, he does. Into pit lane goes the Mercedes, and the Williams follows suit as well, as does Siege in the Renault, and the Force India of Gennaro, who's got very wide and nearly caught the wall there. So that is going to put Stu into first position in the Salba, starting P8 on those super soft, so he's got a few more laps in him. Mays has left the session. His car is still going round now, ghosting, so hopefully he can get back into the session as Honey Badger makes a move on Charlie, and that's also going to be a move on Mays as well, as you can see there, as Lambo and Fletcher come back out of pit lane. The ghost car getting a bit of distractions there for some of the drivers as Charlie goes through. Honey Badger into P3 now, and the effective lead off the race once everyone has pitted. Fletcher has came out right in front of the Haas there, which is Maximus, who's a lap down now, so he doesn't need to worry too much about that. As you can see, Maisie's ghost car going through, so pretty much as it was once it filters out and the others get back in as Mays rejoins. He's now got back control of his car very shortly as well. Still ghosting at the moment, but at least he's been able to get back into the session, so that is going to be good for him, because to score points you have to finish the race in control of the car, as Lambo makes an easy move on Charlie there out of turn number 10, and much more grip on those fresh tyres there. So when do the super soft runners come in? What are you expecting here, Spike? Stu's up at front, Leroy there as well. Get yellow flag in sector 3, and we've got a pass about to happen there, which is Fletcher in the background getting by Charlie as well. But when do you expect to see the super softs come into pit lane?
Yeah, they should be in about between anywhere from now, to be fair, depending on how your tyre weather is, anything from 10 to 14, but 12 to 14 is normally the optimal on the super soft. Honey Badger did a very good job of getting those softs up to temperature nice and quick, so getting a nice little gap. Got pulled 2 seconds on Lambo in that pit stop cycle, so he's got a nice little gap there. He did have a little bit of fresh air, which is crucial for his outlap, so he got a decent outlap, got his tyres up to temperature nice and quickly, and he was managed to fire himself back ahead. He's now got back ahead of Leroy Farmer there, so he's up into P2, just 11 seconds behind Stu there, so he's obviously the effective race leader. Lambo will now be closing in on Leroy quite quickly, who, like we said, will probably be in the next couple of laps, I would say.
Definitely so, and I'm managing to miss every single overtake here tonight as I try to follow everything through the field. I jumped to see as Siege went round the outside his teammate Mays. Mays now back in control of that Renault, and as that happened, Honey Badger into turn 3 on Charlie's Toro Rosso, and a pretty easy move on those fresher tyres. As you say, Lambo is reeled in the back of that Toro Rosso like he's got a fishing line on the back of it. Pulled him in really quickly, and I'm expecting to see him go for a move down into turn 13 here. Easy move up the inside, and he's got the move done. Fletcher in the background, not too far off the back either, and he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty, which will not help him. Gennaro into 13 as well, going around the outside of Mays with the DRS. So that's 8th place for the Force India on those fresh tyres also. So Mays, having got control of his car, still in the top 10 at the moment, still to pit on those super soft tyres, and normally it does go a few laps longer than most, as Fletcher makes his way past Leroy into turn number 1. Another easy move there on fresh tyres as Siege gets by Charlie as well into turn 1. So it's all going on. Maximus has dropped out of the session. No surprise, there just been a horrible day for the Haas driver, possibly binned it as well maybe, I don't know. There was a yellow flag in sector 3, but that puts an end to what has been a miserable evening for Maximus.
Yeah, well, just that I was following Fletcher and Leroy out through turn 9 there, and I definitely saw a piece of front wing go flying, so I don't know which car that was, but I definitely saw a piece of front wing, you know, moving across the track. So I think somebody has damaged their front wing. Could well be Leroy, considering he appears to be losing quite a bit of time now. Struff in the lead, but he has lost only 3 seconds in the last lap and a half, so he really does need to pit now, really, I think, to come in earlier. Get rid of those super softs, get on the soft tyre, because soft tyre is the one to be on towards the end. And it sounds like he's listening, because he is in the pit lane as we speak. Yeah,
so here we go, end of lap number 10, and Struff into pit lane in the Sauber as he comes into pit lane. He should come out somewhere we're 9th place where Mays is at the moment, based on the times just now, but that puts Honey Badger back to the lead of the race. Lambo back into 2nd, and Fletcher back up to 3rd. Leroy is now into 4th place, but he has still to make his pit stop. Siege is in 5th place for Renault, having made a pit stop. Struff comes back out. Gennaro is going to get the better of him though, so the Sauber comes back out in 7th place, just ahead of Mays, who's in 8th. Charlie's in the pits in 9th in the other Toro Rosso, so he has made his pit stop, and Plaster in as well from P10. That puts Sinclair, who got caught up in that incident in lap number 1, having started in 2nd. He's now back up into 9th position. Smelly Badger has made his way up to 10th place, so he's now in the final points paying position, and the only drivers that are still to pit now are Leroy, Mays, in fact just Leroy and Mays in fact, so only 2 drivers still to make a pit stop at the moment. Fletcher's trying to close into the back of Lambo pretty quickly. I did have a look at the front wings of both Fletcher and Leroy, couldn't see any visual damage to either of them, but Leroy has dropped back quite significantly within a lap, although he is on those older tyres, so they will be going. But Fletcher onto the back of Lambo. Lambo picking up a 3-second time penalty there, so these guys are now even on penalties as as well at the moment, as we're approaching the half race distance here of TTFL's season opener for season number 4. It's the Australian Grand Prix, but your pole sitter Honey Badger, the home driver, the Australian, leads the race from Lambo and Fletcher as Leroy finally comes into the pits in that Toro Rosso.
Yeah, so Fletcher, they're setting yet another fastest lap of the race. His fastest lap's currently about 3/10 up on the 2 cars ahead, so he does appear to have a pace advantage over the 2 cars ahead, so he's looking very strong at the moment. So we'll have to see how that ends up towards the end of the race.
Got a Red Bull, sorry. Red Bull in the wall. It is Dynamic and his teammate. Sackett have both had contact there by the looks of it, and Dynamic looked like he's got wing damage coming out of the fast chicane, so the Red Bulls repeating history, Azerbaijan hitting each other one more time, and we've got more yellow flags about as well, as they're both running very slowly back to pit lane. Dynamic has definitely got damage to the front wing, so he is going to be back into pit lane for what will be his second pit stop. His teammate carries on, but obviously either they've caught up or one of them's had an incident and the other one couldn't avoid it, so not too much going on there unfortunately for Red Bull today. Fletcher right onto the back of Lambo. He's now well within range, and Lambo is just about nearly outside the DRS range on Honey Badger ahead. That's going to obviously hinder him. We'll see if he's not got DRS. You can see it there, we've just jumped to him. So Fletcher has DRS down towards turn 1 and turn number 3, so can the Williams get a brilliant exit out of turn 1? He's on the throttle very early indeed. Lambo running wide, catching a bit of grass. Here we go, turning up the battery. He's nearly out of battery charge, so does he go late in the brakes? He's thinking about it. He's up the inside. There's a little bit of a touch between the two of them, but he keeps the position, does Lambo. Fletcher just backs out, maybe just feeling it was maybe just a tad too late, didn't want to cause any damage to either of them, and they carry on as they are for now. But Fletcher is looking an awful lot faster than Lambo just now, as we're now into halfway distance now, lap 14 of 29 here. But Fletcher has really got the bit between his teeth, and you got to feel, Spike, it based on current pace, as long as he doesn't burn the tyres up, if he can get by Lambo and keep ahead, he could try and reel in that McLaren up ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, quite possibly. I think what Honey Badger is doing, just sort of cycling through the 3 cars, and Honey Badger is setting these lap times, but he's keeping his battery nice and well charged. So he's got currently 70%, and he keeps flicking down to 0. So he's making sure he's got plenty of battery for if and when the attack may come from the 2 cars behind. Fletcher would have had, I would think, a better chance of overtaking Lambo to turn 3, but he actually ran out of battery as he came out of turn 2, and Lambo had plenty left at that point. So they saved a little bit on this lap now, so they're kind of even. So I have to see what happens down to turn 3, but I'm not sure he's going to be quite close enough this time round. No,
definitely looking a little bit further back from that Mercedes rear wing, so I don't anticipate seeing a lunge into turn number 3 here, so he'll need to try and charge the battery back up, stay close enough, maybe try one more time. Gennaro, the latest one to get excuse me, a time penalty during the race, and this is the closest battle on the track at the moment between Lambo and Fletcher. Struff is catching up to the back of the Force India of Gennaro, but he's still within a second at the moment. The only other closest one is Plaster, 1.8 behind Charlie over 11th and 12th. Everyone else is pretty much spread out at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on the battle for second place as they come down past the lake on the right hand side there, up to the fast chicane, 11 and 12. And can Fletcher keep it within the track limits, avoid any more warnings, avoid losing it on the exit, and can he just close up enough and charge enough of his batteries through these last couple of corners? They are closing into the back of Honey Badger though. Lambo's now within DRS range himself, so they're pulling themselves back in just now. Yellow flag in sector 3, it's Struff. He's off the track, he's off, I'm guessing that's going to be at the chicane.
12.
Yeah, but it's caught another one. That's 3 cars that have dropped it there and retired today.
Yeah,
so it's becoming a graveyard down there for Formula 1 cars, so the drivers need to be very careful, and they're going to end up in that scrapyard. Fletcher is right behind. Yeah, he's right behind here. This is a perfect opportunity. Does he fancy being late on the brakes? No. Lambo very good on the brakes there into turn number 3. He had the DRS himself, obviously, to help him just stay far enough ahead. But Fletcher is still trying his absolute best to get past that Mercedes here, heading up toward turn 6. Sinclair heads into pit lane for his second pit stop. So I'm guessing it's going to be another super soft stint, I would imagine. No
Might
point.
do ultras. Could do ultras.
That would be a brave one, but nope, he's gone for supers. Safer option.
Points are still on the cards for Sinclair. I was going to be very disappointed that I think he would have been in this top 3 battle here for the race win if him and Lambo had that small incident at turn 1. So obviously at the end of the race, I'm guessing we'll hear about that afterwards. But from what I saw, it just looked like unfortunate timing. And Fletcher is right on the back of Lambo, looking into turn 3. No, not close enough again. For that one, you've got to be almost alongside in the braking zone, especially against a guy like Lambo. Previous experience racing the guy, he's very good on the brakes, so out-braking him is not the easiest thing to do in the world.
Definitely not indeed. Sinclair's back out of pit lane, had dropped a place to Charlie, but he's managed to get that back on the run down to what I believe would be turn 3, I would imagine. Here we go, 1, 2, 3 down the front straight. There is less than a second separating these 3. You don't need me to tell you the gap because you can see it there. You probably throw a blanket over them before long. Fletcher is right behind Lambo one more time. He's getting closer every single time down towards turn 3, but as you can see it clearly. Lambo on the brakes, very good on the brakes there, and now obviously got the DRS himself because Honey Badger has been reeled in very much by these guys. So we could have a fantastic 12 lap sprinting charge to the end of this race here, Spike. This could be a very exciting closer to this race. We've got 12 laps to go, but the other McLaren, the Smelly Badger's into pit lane for his second stop. But it's a bit early on those soft tyres as well, so possibly some damage maybe to that McLaren. He's only done 7 laps, so he's picked up damage, so that is definitely the reason for that, because that is very early for being on those soft tyres. Struff having left the session, having been the third casualty out of turn number 12, and Lambo now is the one going from being defensive, he's now going on the attack on the back of Honey Badger's McLaren. And it'll be interesting to see who fancies their chances. Of course, Honey Badger needs to have saved his battery. He's got plenty off at 78%, and he's going to need every single kilowatt of it as well down this front straight, because these two behind have DRS to their advantage, so that McLaren needs all the battery possible to keep going. Alan Kay in the chat, didn't go well for him, and unfortunately one of the 6 retirements out of this race, but he's enjoying the battle we're seeing here for the lead. And you can see Lambo now, Fletcher, we're getting very late in the brakes here. Honey Badger ran very wide into turn 3, nearly cost himself the lead of the race here. These 3 are fighting over one piece of tarmac, no one else is close enough on track, so we are sticking with this battle for now. There is no need to look anywhere else because everyone else is spaced out at the moment. Now they're coming up to a lapped car up ahead as well. They're going to be catching is it Smelly Badger as well? There we go. So it's the other McLaren.
Fresh tyres though, so he should pull away. He should pull away if he's got fresh super softs on. So he should at least perhaps maintain the gap, if not pull it over. And Sinclair now sets the fastest lap of the race on those super soft tyres, which is not surprising. But again, the delta isn't that huge. It's the only slight problem with the super soft, especially that I found yesterday, is I must admit I'm not the fastest driver around this track at all. So excuse me, I was dropping a few tenths anyway, but my fastest lap was only a couple of tenths quicker than most of the super soft runners at the end, because that soft tyre is an awesome tyre. It just keeps going and going and going.
The yellow flag in sector 3 somewhere. I'll let you inspect that, Spike. It's disappeared, so I thought maybe someone had spun again at the chicane, but it's been put back very quickly. It's always that corner.
Green flags on the exit was 13, so I'm guessing that's where it was. Yeah.
Lambo on the inside.
Very late move from Lambo.
That was a late one.
Yeah, that was a little bit on the north side. I think it was a surprise of Badger's. It looked a bit pedestrian in there, but I think Badger's, like I said before, he's very intelligent using this ERS. He's got so much more battery than the 2 behind. Lambo's kind of in the middle, and then Fletcher, who is kind of in the prime position here. He's got double toe, so every time he's got the DRS, he just needs to switch that ERS mode all the way down to basically 0. Just hold the gap, save that battery up, and then you can literally have a whole lap of mode 5. There we go. Get the words out. Mode 5. which will then allow him. He's very close out of turn. So Lambo made a small mistake, so he's dug up the inside, perhaps into turn 13.
Oh.
Yes, got it. It's a lovely move.
Wow.
Lambo's going to switch back.
That was a really late move. Good Mason by Wolf. Really late move there from Fletcher, but made it work. An absolute treat. And Lambo having gone on a bit of a late lunge into turn 3. Thankfully, Honey Badger seen it coming. Lambo backed out of it, but Fletcher moves up to second place. But now Lambo is going to try and attack back on that. Williams into turn number 1. Now Honey Badger gets a 3-second penalty, so I believe that is all 3 on 3 seconds, meaning they're all even at the moment. Nothing they can take advantage of with someone having penalties, but Fletcher really late in the brakes. We were on board with him there and he just flew by that Mercedes as if it was standing still there into the braking zone. So really good in the brakes, and especially for someone like Lambo, who is normally very good on the braking there, it shows just how much overspeed that Williams had got out of the fast chicane there. So now can he challenge that McLaren up ahead and take over the lead of this race? Apart from the pit stop phase, Honey Badger has been in the lead since the very beginning of this race. Sinclair is catching up to the back of Mays over 7th and 8th, so keep an eye and see if they go, but we cannot move from this lead battle at the moment. Fletcher picks up another 3-second penalty, so now he really needs to get past. Coming up to his overtaking zone again, Honey Badger goes defensive, knows it's coming. Sinclair's got past Mays in P7, but we cannot leave this battle for the lead here. It is absolutely frantic and being held at an absolutely phenomenal pace out front, and you can see the other McLaren, the Smelly Badger, is getting caught very, very slowly indeed, because these guys are having to push each other to keep ahead. Smelly Honey Badger there just looking a little bit defensive, then moving back to the braking line, but some really big moment there from the McLaren there. That might allow the Williams a chance. He goes defensive into turn 3, comes back across to take his braking line. Lambo late in the brakes into number 3. Don't be fooled by the red markings on that Mercedes. He is on the soft tyres, we all know about that glitch, but that Williams is looking very, very quick indeed. But Sinclair's moved himself back up to 7th place, having obviously dropped down due to that first lap incident. With some phenomenal racing we've got here, Spike, between the front 3.
Yep, awesome racing between the 3. Good respect between all of them as well. Great move from Fletcher into turn 13. Just caught Lambo, but I think Lambo decided at that point that he perhaps realised Fletcher's got that a little bit more pace, as unfortunately Sackett is now out of the race as well, so he's obviously dropped it. Where's he dropped it? Let's see if we can catch him from Nexus. Well, I was keeping an eye on the front 3 as well, because Fletcher is very close to the back of Badger going into turn 13. Very defensive from Honey Badger there. He's going to compromise on the exit. Can he get up the inside into the next corner? He's looking, he's there.
It's not an overtaking zone. Oh.
That's okay, that's fine.
And round the outside.
He's off the grass, and that was Lambo through into P2.
Mistake there.
Lambo will be the one going for it. He tried to outbrake him. What he should do was perhaps stay with him, but Lambo's going to have a look up the inside, perhaps. Badger just goes defensive again. And Lambo's going to hold back here and wait and get the exit. There we go. He's lost the back end though for the exit.
We're on board.
Fletcher could be the one as well, because they're all within 3/10 of 3 of them, so this is awesome down into turn 3. Lambo on the inside, and Fletcher look up the inside, making it 3 wide. Lambo has got the high ground. He's got the high ground into the next corner. Very respectful, gives him the space on the exit, because Honey Badger had his car slightly ahead. Good defensive. Badger on the grass. 3.5. 3 wide into turn 6. Lambo has the lead.
Fletcher's hit Honey Badger. Honey Badger's off.
A spark.
Contact between the two of them there. It was going nearly 3 wide into turn number 6 there, and Fletcher caught the back of the McLaren. That's allowed Siege now up in the P3 as well. Honey Badger gets back underway, hopefully no damage to the car, but I'm sure we've not heard the end of that one possibly as well. But they all got very, very close coming out of turn 3. Lambo and Honey Badger side by side. Obviously Honey Badger held on round the outside of turn number 4 and managed to hold the place, but through 5 Honey Badger wide onto the grass, back onto the track, nearly 3 wide. Lambo got through. Fletcher fancied his chances up the inside. Hard to see from the camera angle that I had, but that bit of contact onto the rear wheel put the McLaren into a spin into the gravel, and as Alan K sees in the chat, seen that coming. When you're going 3 wide down that narrow part of track, it's normally the most likely outcome of what's going to happen there, Spike.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 wide is it's through turn 5, and the Badger did really well to keep his car on the outside and had He's
in
coming to
pit
pit lane
lane.
as well, so perhaps he has got perhaps he has got a little bit of wing damage, or perhaps he's decided to get in and get a fresh set of ultras on as well. Let's have a look, see if we get a wing change. No wing change, so he's decided to get some fresh tyres on, and perhaps try and get back at Gennaro. But that's going to be a massive ask at that point.
Yeah, it's going to definitely
so,
be.
Into turn. Sorry, go. You go.
No. You were beating me to it. I thought you were finished.
That's fine, mate. No worries. It's a good race. It was good racing. I did, like you. I had a poor camera. I was actually watching Lambo into turn 5 at that point. So I saw Honey Badger run wide through turn 5. So I was just get a poor exit, which then would allow Fletcher. It all depends on where Fletcher was in relation to Badger's car. If he's got his car alongside, then it's one of those. But if he's looking, he's pushing for it a little bit, then but like I said, I didn't get a good view of it, so I'm not going to make a judgment on that. But we'll have to see afterwards. I'm sure the videos will be sent into the stewards, and that'll get sorted out afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not going to make the most judgment on it, but it did look like it was front wheel to rear wheel contact, possibly. Hard to tell, as I say, from the angle that was there, but we will wait and see how that one filters out. Honey Badger has came back out on a fresh set of Ultra Sauce in 5th place, so it's not going to be the points he hoped for, but he's not dropped as far down the order as he could have done if it had been earlier on in the race. Meanwhile, Fletcher is right behind Lambo one more time there. Lambo doesn't have the DRS off of the McLaren to help him, and Fletcher up the inside one more time. Can he get the move done? Lambo holds on round the outside into turn number 4. Can the Williams go right round the outside? Good move there, good respectful racing there, and Fletcher moves into the lead of the race, but you know that Lambo is not going to take that lying down by one, not by any stretch of the imagination, and yet he's just picked up an RT. But that's them now both on 2 3-second penalties, so that's going to cancel each other out completely there. And Lambo really on the back there. I want to go and jump to Sinclair because I like trying to go through the field, but Sinclair's right in the back of Leroy. But I dare not leave this battle for the lead because Lambo is right there into the fast chicane. You can see there as he just clipped through the curb, and he is right behind, coming down towards turn number 13. That McLaren is still ahead. Sinclair's got through on Leroy behind. Up the inside goes Lambo. They're touching wheels. He's not quite alongside there. The Mercedes still side by side into 14. Oh, this could all end in tears, but no, the Williams holds on there, and he's going to have to try one more time. You've seen Sinclair, I think, going by Leroy Spike. What happened?
Yeah, lovely move around turn 3, around the outside by Sinclair on the fresher tyres. Leroy did his best, defended the inside, but yes, superior grip, superior speed, so nice move there.
Alan Kay in the chat saying they were all side by side into the braking point, that incident at turn 6 between Honey Badger, Fletcher and Lambo, so definitely not enough space for 3 cars down there at the best of times, never mind going at 150 into a braking point. So I do anticipate we'll probably see some footage later on Spike in the stewards room for that one, but we'll wait and see what happens. We've only got, what we're on, 5 laps to go, including the one we're on, and this battle for the lead is still raging on pretty much since the start of this race. The top 3, obviously Honey Badger now down in 5th due to that incident, but the top 3 have pretty much been in a league of their own here tonight, pulling away pretty well, battling with each other all the way through, and Fletcher and Lambo are going to carry it on all the way to the end of this race. Hopefully we can see some more fantastic battling between these two before it finishes, as Lambo's going to be in the DRS. Fletcher's going to have to go defensive up to turn 13. He switches across. That was a very late defensive move. That was on the cusp there. That was very, very aggressive.
Yeah, I must admit, I only literally switched back. I was watching Honey Badger set the fastest lap of the race, and said I won 21.4 on those fresh ultras.
Sinclair out the race.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see yet. Whereas he dropped that, so on board with Maze, and perhaps we'll catch it. So I'm going to hazard. Oh, it's actually on the exit of turn 6 and 7 there. So he's on the curb there, I think, and lost the back end and hit the wall on the inside, just like Pastor Maldonado.
Yes, 2012, the Venezuelan doing what he does best, being the crashinator. Obviously that was before he went on to win the Spanish Grand Prix, of course, but there you go. But Sinclair, that just puts an end to, again, a bit of a miserable night for him, having got caught out in that incident in lap 1. Hard to see what happened from the angle we had, of course, but this battle between Lambo and Fletcher goes on. But I've got to say, that switch, Fletcher went defensive into 13, and then right at the last minute chucked the car back to the racing line where Lambo was. Lambo done really well, in my opinion, to avoid a major incident, and nearly made the move as well. But Fletcher needs to be very careful, because that could be beyond the limit. I don't know, hard to tell. I'm not in the driver's seat, but it was very much on the limit. Lambo goes to the inside. He's got the line this time. Fletcher does it the proper way, gives him a little bit of a squeeze, forces him onto the grass a little bit there, gives him the room there. Lambo's still there though. Fletcher giving them more than enough respect there, having pushed him a little bit wide, and they're going on one more time. We're now heading on to lap number 27 of 29. 3 to go as they cross the line here in Melbourne, and it is still, as you were, Fletcher leading from Lambo, and it is still tenths of a second in it. Fletcher catching the grass there as he just chucks it into turn 1. Lambo done the same. He's out of ERS, so here we go, and it's on free again, late in the moves.
Stop doing that.
But Lambo gets it up the inside. Can he swing it round the outside now? Pushes him wide onto that sausage curb. They're coming into turn number 5. The Williams holds on, but that is getting just a bit beyond the limits now. You can go back if you've got the space to do so, but not that aggressively, and not when a car is flying by you that close, because that is just asking for a massive accident.
Yeah, Lambo's obviously got an overspeed as well with the DRS. The only side note I put to that is, obviously, we all know this game sometimes has a little bit of trouble with the netcode to displaying which car is, so let's just give Fletcher the benefit of doubt that perhaps there's a little bit more of a gap, but from what we can see it does look very late, and he does need to stick to his line and not move over the braking zones.
This time Lambo around the outside!
Oh, touch again.
There was a little bit of contact there, nearly put the Mercedes wide, and Fletcher able to hold on for now, but Lambo's going to get up the inside here into turn 15, nearly getting the move done, but Fletcher holds on for now as Alan Case says, so he's moving a lot within the braking zone. When you're in the braking zone, you're committed to whatever line that you've taken, whether that be inside or outside, you're committed to that line, and he is moving back across while in that braking zone, and within the letter of the law, that's not really on, so he could end up in a bit of trouble later on. Lambo though going to the outside into turn number 3. He's going to swing right around the outside there. Fletcher though late in the brakes to try and hold the move done, managed to avoid contact. I thought Lambo was just going to swing right around there, but unable to do so. But now on to the penultimate lap of the race. Fletcher still leads Lambo. Siege is sitting in third place. He's going to take a podium here to start the season if he carries on, and he's not seen much of anyone else because the battling up front has been fast and furious and a little bit over aggressive on occasion as well. Unfortunately, Honey Badger dropped down into 5th place. He's now on those Ultra Sauce. He is currently going to be picking up the A logo fastest lap of the race award, because he's done a 1 minute 21.4, well quicker than anyone else. As Lambo goes to the inside this time now. It's a late move. We've got a long camera angle, but no, Fletcher's able to hold on to it for now as we come on to the final lap of the race. How's this one going to go? We've got a few more DRS zones. Lambo really late in the brakes here, but here we go one more time round the block. 3.296 miles to go. Can the Mercedes get past that Williams up ahead, and can Fletcher hold on to what could be a race victory? As Lambo, that might just put the end of it. He's just picked up a penalty, cutting the curb there. That could be all she wrote. And Fletcher's got the high ground there. Lambo's going to go late round the outside. Oh, that's a push. I can see this. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a very initial reaction, but Lambo was asking to get pushed off there. I mean, Fletcher's got the high ground. He's not ahead of him. I think at that point, I can understand Lambo's frustrations. Fletcher moving around the braking zone is not really on. It does look like that Fletcher has slowed up to allow Lambo to be, because they're once again side by side returner. I'm not sure. Yeah, again, my camera angles are quite poor, so I'm not getting the best view, I must admit, so I'm going to reserve judgment.
Well, we'll wait and see as well, because I'm imagining the stewards room might be quite busy this evening. I know you are one of them, Spike, on occasion, so you could be in for a busy evening looking through the footage. But coming up to turn 13 for the final time, and it has been an absolutely frantic and phenomenal race. But Fletcher coming through the final couple of turns now, at least on the road, as we always say, official, unofficial results, as Kieran McGinley says, that Fletcher comes across the line and he is going to take the victory on the road here at Melbourne. He wins the Australian Grand Prix. Lambo takes second place. Comes across the line for a very quiet race, but a very good third position. Gennaro is going to hold on for fourth place in the Force India. Good result there for the Italian, as Honey Badger comes across fifth place. He will take the A Logo fastest lap of the race award as he bumps his way down the finish line. Not happy, of course, with what's happened. I am absolutely sure of that. Leroy, having done pretty well in this race, came up 13 places, so he's going to be the biggest gainer in this race. He's going to come across and take sixth position in the Toro Rosso. If you offered him that at the start of the race, you probably would have bit your hand off for it. But he's going to come through for sixth place. That's going to be a good result there for him. In the background is Nexus Dynamic, who is a lap down in 11th. Here comes Mays. He's going to take 7th place. That's going to be good double points finishing for Renault and the constructors, and the same for Toro Rosso, as well as Charlie. He's going to come across in 8th place in his Toro Rosso. Plaster has got Smelly Badger right behind, so the McLaren maybe fancying its chances into the last couple of corners. Who knows? We'll see if penalties come into effect, but if they holds on, Plaster is going to take 9th position, and it's going to be the final points paying position going to Smelly Badger in 10th. We'll see if they switch. I think they might have switched actually at the end. Yes. So Smelly Badger takes 9th, Plaster in 10th, but at least on the road, Fletcher takes the victory. But I'm sure there's going to be some questions asked after the race, but a very, very frantic race indeed. And we'll wait and see. We'll run through the results. Obviously, they are unofficial until the stewards have had any videos that might go into them as well. So keep an eye on the Twitter page at TTFL_F1, and you'll get the final results will be posted there. But very aggressive moves there, Spike. We'll go through it in just a moment as soon as we see the results coming through here. For the Australian Grand Prix for the start of Season 4, on the road it is Fletcher who takes the victory for Williams, with Lambo in second for Mercedes. Siege takes third for Renault, with Gennaro in fourth, Honey Badger in fifth. We'd be very disappointed obviously with what went on. He was leading most of the race. Leroy in sixth, Mace seventh, Charlie in eighth, Smelly Badger in ninth. Those three no penalties at all, so they pick up my coveted Andy Campbell no penalty award that we've now got. Plaster in 10th, Dynamic the last runner in 11th, DNS for Sinclair, Sadek, Struth, Maximus, Alan K, Suarez, Rapid, and KLC didn't even get past turn number 2, getting caught up in that first lap incident. Rapid on lap 1 out of the fast chicane. Suarez at the end of turn number 5. Alan K at the chicane as well. Maximus had a number of incidents, and I can't remember how everyone else finished up in terms of their out of the race. But very interesting race there, Alan. A lot of action for us to commentate on, and quite a lot of aggression as well.
Yeah, great race. It was great between the front three. Unfortunately, in the end, like we say, 3 wide. Especially as certain parts of Albert Park is very narrow, so it's difficult to get 3 cars through. So perhaps discretion would have been the better part of valor for a couple of points there. But yeah, I mean, again, going to reserve judgment. Moving around the braking zones is not generally a good idea. Just especially if when the car behind has DRS and an overspeed on you, so and that'd be why Lambo had to switch lines to avoid and go to the inside. So we'll see on that one. Again, I'm not gonna say either way. I think it was good racing. I think frustration obviously for Honey Badger. I think in hindsight perhaps he could have used a bit more of his DRS to try and pull a gap, but I think he was trying to be tactical, and obviously I think he was also trying to save his tyres towards the end to stay with the 2, because obviously Fletcher seemed to have the pace in the middle of the stint, and then towards the end of the stint with a little bit of DRS help, Lambo seemed to have the quick car again. So it would have been very interesting to see where Honey Badger would have factored in there.
Definitely so, and can you imagine if we had the 3 of them all the way to the end of the race? It could have been absolutely phenomenal to watch, but Fletcher takes the victory on the road to start Season 4. Keep an eye, as I say, on the Twitter page to see if that is the official results, because there could be a busy evening ahead in the steward's room. Normally we would do some interviews, but I'm going to leave them tonight just because of the microphone issues I've been having. I don't want to take any chances. We've got through to the end of the stream. I want to end it on a happy note. So normally there would be some interviews. I'm going to leave them off for tonight just purely because of the microphone issues. I don't want to take the chance of just messing anything up. It's been a
really
good finish.
Last half an hour.
Yeah,
really good,
you have no idea how much my hands hurt having to hold the controller in one place. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So it's either your headset or the jack in your controller.
I get the feeling it's the jack possibly, but yeah, as soon as I got it in the right place, it seemed to be okay, thankfully. So
it's fine, yeah. So the headset's working fine. It's probably more likely to be the jack then, yeah.
Sure.
So you need to borrow a controller off a friend and see if that makes a difference.
We'll soon see, but because of that I'm just going to leave the interviews tonight and hopefully try and fix this out. But coming up on TTTV over the weekend, now got a full 4 days worth of action. Thursday TTL F1, obviously TTFL tonight. Tomorrow night I'll be back on the mic, hopefully with no mic issues, running the Project Cars 2 Formula C League that started last week. Round number 2 is coming from Snetterton. 2 races, a sprint race and a feature, and there's going to be some weather involved tomorrow as well for the feature race, so join me at 8 o'clock for that, and hopefully I don't sound like a beatbox all the way through either. On Sunday night it is TTL F2, which runs the calendar normally that we would see from TTL F1. You can join Jack and James for that one, and then on Tuesday night it is back to TTL F1 with Kieran. Will be in the box hopefully for that one, round 2, the Bahrain Grand Prix, and then he'll be back on Thursday night as well for round 3, which will be the Chinese Grand Prix. I'll be back next Friday as well. What about yourself, Spike? Do you think you might join me next Friday, or do you think you might be out there racing?
It all depends on other commitments if I'm about, and you'll have me again. I'll be more than happy to join you again.
You're more than welcome to join me anytime. It's an absolute pleasure having yourself, Kieran, Alan Kay, whoever it might be in the box with us. It's absolutely brilliant, and thank you for joining me this evening, because it's certainly helped with having the mic issues, so thank you.
Apologies to the audience for that. It was a little bit obviously awkward, but yeah, in the end Andy found out what the issue was and did a stellar job holding himself very, very still to the end.
Definitely so, thank you very much. Well, we'll be back next week for the Chinese Grand Prix for round number 2 of TTFL. If you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you're notified whenever we go live. And that is it for this evening from myself, from Spike, from all the drivers, and from everyone involved with TTFL and TT Gaming. My name is Andy, and until next time, myself and Spike, we'll see you again soon. Have a good evening. Take care. Ta-ra.